It's what people claim to be the best of all the Star Wars films, Empire Strikes Back. And yeah, it is. But why? Well, instead of having another movie being the same as the previous one, they do things differently. They don't tell this movie as if it's a sequel, but as if it's the second part or the second act. Not only that, but it's one of the darkest films in all of Star Wars. The rebellion are on the run and the Empire are trying to hunt them down. Everyone is separated and the Empire are being a threatening force hunting them down. Anyway, what happens? After finding their secret base on Hoth, the Empire launches a full-scale invasion on the planet in hopes of destroying the rebellion that destroyed the Death Star. After they escape, Han, Leia, Chewbacca and C-3PO head out on the Falcon running away from the Empire, while Luke heads to Dagobah under the orders of the deceased Obi-Wan, telling him to find Yoda, the Jedi that taught him. The crew then make their way to Cloud City on a planet called Bespin, where we meet an old friend of Han's, Lando Calrissian. Unfortunately though, the Empire has beaten them there and takes them captive. Luke senses this and rushes off to rescue them, resulting in him facing off against Darth Vader, who easily overpowers Luke, and after a revelation he falls down the chute and is rescued by Leia. Han is then captured by Jabba the Hutt and the rebellion are still on the run. I think what makes this movie so good is that it takes that happily ever after from the last movie and says, the Empire is still here and they are after you and you do not stand a chance. You go from the end of the first film where they are celebrated because they beat the Empire to this one where they're feeling hopeless and wondering where they go from here. It's dark, it's gritty and it shows in full force the might of the Empire and what they're capable of if they want to. And Darth Vader, he has such a presence in this movie. We go from seeing him just being on the side in the last movie to just looking menacing to seeing him in this film where he is taking no failure from anyone, and if someone does fail him, they die, and Vader has no remorse for it. This is when Vader went from being a cool bad guy to one of the best bad guys in all of film. The scene on Cloud City where he takes out that lightsaber in front of Luke, you actually feel fear, you actually feel that intimidation, you feel like you're going to lose to him. As well as this, the puppet work they did on Yoda is amazing. Even though he is a puppet and he is not real, he feels real. And it feels like Mark Hamill is working with someone who is real and is there. After watching the prequels and seeing the CG Yoda, you can see even clearer that the actors are looking at nothing. But here, you get the impression that he is really there, and you know he's not there, but because of the way he's played, and Frank Oz's voice of Yoda as well, it just adds to it really well, and it makes Yoda one of the best characters in all of Star Wars. We also get information about the Force as well, but not too much. Just enough that we can know what it is and how it is used, and how the light compares to the dark and why you should never go too far into the dark because it will forever dominate your destiny. As I mentioned about the original trilogy being reanalyzed in today's society, you can see a lot of what Yoda said in this movie relates to what happens in today's society. People at the moment, and me as well to an extent, judge people on what they see and do not give that person a chance to show what they can actually do. Yoda's line, "Judge me by my size, do you?" That is so true of what people do in real life, and it teaches you should give people a second chance regardless of what they look like or sound like. And when you think of these movies like that, you understand why it left such an impact on people's lives at the time. So, as I said before, it's my most favourite Star Wars movie. I love it. Are there things that I don't like? Yeah. And are there things that don't make sense? Of course. But I put those behind me because the rest is so good. The Force is strong with this movie.